If the bikes were finding it hard going on the tight and twisty stages of day one, so much more so the cars. Today, though, the four-wheel drive competitors had a little bit more room with which to spread their wings. This is the BMW of Nasser Al-Attiyah. He struggled yesterday. After the shakedown, he went for a much too stiff suspension setup, and it nearly rattled his fillings loose. Today, much better. He led at the first passage control, ended up in fourth fastest time. He finished 2 minutes 37 behind the leader, leapfrogging his teammate Felipe Campos. He's the best BMW as he moves up from 8th to 7th. Fourth man overnight was Deepak Stepping in the VW, and he was third fastest on today's stage. He might have been able to move into the top three overall as well, except for being delayed in his teammate's dust on today's special. The runner-up on the Central Europe Rally. He said 18 kilometres before the end of the stage, we got stuck in the dust from our teammate Janil. It was very hard to try and find a way to get by. We tried a couple of times to get by safely, but it just wasn't possible, so we had to slow down and lost a couple of minutes. Second quickest man on today's test, fifth place overnight, Juan Roma for Mitsubishi. He lay almost 3 minutes adrift at the beginning of the special. A puncture 3 kilometres from the end of today's test barely slowed him at all. He remains in fifth, but he's now just 41 seconds off the overall lead. Much better day than yesterday, said Nani, who looked exhausted after yesterday's heat. We had a puncture just before the finish line. Luckily, there was a lot of variety in today's stage, but as it was very narrow and twisty, it was still hard work. Well, the stage winner was also aboard a Mitsubishi. Stefan Peter-Hansel set the fastest time. He picked up a puncture too, right at the very end, but finished on the flat, losing no time. He started the day 4 minutes 14 seconds behind, but pulled back 4 minutes 12 on today's stage. It wasn't without incident, as he admitted later. Said, yeah, we made a few little mistakes, going straight on off into the brush, so we lost a little time getting back onto the track, but we really avoided any major problems, so for us, it was a good run. Good run indeed for Peter-Hansel. For Volkswagen's Carlos Sainz, well, he started the day just 2 seconds off the lead, but was only fifth quickest on today's test. He said before the event it was going to be more like a World Rally Championship event than a Dakar, and with these big Dakar cars, the narrow stages were sometimes proving a little restrictive. He lost 4 minutes with a puncture, but he still remains tied for the overall lead. Luke Alphonse Mitsubishi was the leader after the first day by just 2 seconds, and he finished today's stage in 6th place. He now ties for the lead with Sainz, and he's just 2 seconds ahead of teammate Peter-Hansel. Day one taught us nothing about the competition. Day two has turned it all on its head. So we now have three drivers within 2 seconds of each other at the top of the leaderboard. The man who was third overnight was Janil de Villiers. The South African's Volkswagen, though, was only 7th on today's stage after picking up a puncture just 80 kilometres into the 190k stage. He struggled to find a safe place to change it, losing several minutes in the process. He was today's big loser. Man who slipped one position on the leaderboard was Frenchman Gerlin Chicherit. He was 8th quickest today, 14th overnight. He lost a lot of time when his door came open early in the first stage of the rally, and the car was then filled with thick dust for the remaining part of the 180 kilometres. Stefan Peter-Hansel then, the winner on today's stage, pulling back a huge advantage. Romer in second, making it a Mitsubishi 1-2. But we have 3 drivers within 2 seconds of the top of the leaderboard. Dieter Depping, the best of the rest, just half a minute behind. Battle for the best of the Portuguese was won by Felipe Campos, 9th quickest today, but he did lose his 7th place overall to BMW teammate Nasser Al-Attiyah. And behind him, first top 10 stage time for Pedro Grancha and the Nissan Navara pickup. He was 9th after the first day, where he remains. The third day is unique. 2 stages, the same run in the morning and in the afternoon on the outskirts of Lisbon. And it'll feature sandy tracks through heavily forested areas. Another tight and twisty one. And you can catch up with all the action from day 3 of the Pax Rally tomorrow night.
Listen to the fire. Listen to the fire.
The third day of the Pax Rally is one of the longest in terms of the competitors' time in the saddle. Stages 3 and 4 of the event, heading down back south towards the capital Lisbon and out towards the west into the heart of farming territory. Today the competitors face the same stage twice, 90 kilometres in length. They'll run it in the same direction. Based on the outskirts of Lisbon, it features mainly fast, flowing dusty tracks through flat plains with wooded areas full of cork trees. A massive margin, and he's now 4 minutes behind the leader and back down to third. But the quad battle was also turned on its head today.